Welcome once again back to another amazing session. If you're hanging out by the doors, come on in. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. This is going to be a great talk. I know everybody's really excited to hear more about focus. And this presentation, we're going to look at focus and hear from Zoom as well. So I hope everybody's really excited to listen. So don't give a big round of applause yet, because I want to let you know in just a second, we're going to have Nick Konstantinou from Zoom and Pavan Tallapragada. They're going to come up here. But we're going to kick it off first with the FinOps Foundation's own Mike Fuller and Udom Devaraja. So please give them a big round of applause.
Alrighty.
How about those announcements in the morning, Mike?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Everyone happy with that? 4 clouds.
4 out of 4. So all the major providers supporting focus. That's awesome for us to see.
Alrighty. So I guess, yeah, we just want to go across a few things over the, get us situated again with focus, and then we'll get the Zoom team out here and talk about what they've been up to, and then we'll come back out and just wrap up at the end. And so I guess you would have seen this at the keynote yesterday with JR and Clement, and so we'll just go quickly back through it just so we can reset.
Any contributors to the focus project here? Just want to give anybody a shout out.
There you go. See hands.
All right, thank you so much for the contributions. If you're like me in my previous role at Citi, you have an ecosystem where you're using possibly multiple clouds, SaaS vendors, you have internal costs, and you want to provide a single pane of glass across this. So you can do things like cost allocation, you can provide the true cost of ownership across all your costs, provide capabilities like budgeting and forecasting and other things across all of these things. That was the problem that we wanted to solve with Focus by providing a way to normalize this cost so you can stack these things together and do your cost management based on that.
So the specification itself is an outline, a guide to what this columns and the data that goes into those columns is. It's not a tool that does the work, and as you saw this morning, we've got the native format, so hopefully you won't need to do any of the work anyway. The outputs of this native data that you ingest from your cloud providers, and hopefully eventually with your SaaS and internal costs, will go into the practitioners directly for those who are loading their data into their own platforms, into your service providers who might be consuming that data and then giving you their own reports in order to benefit your own practice, or into your tool providers, not just as the way in, but also for that UX. So you are seeing the language of FinOps reflected out on the tooling side back to you as a practitioner. And this really is important because we know that practitioners use multiple tools, on average 4.1 tools, and that means the language really is aligned across the tools you're using. There's a common unified language for FinOps.
Do you want to go to the next slide? Yeah. So who does Focus help? In our view, Focus helps everybody in this ecosystem. You have the cloud providers, you have the vendors, and you have the practitioners. The providers are the ones that are producing the data. Now they have a FinOps-enabled format that they can produce that data and confidently know that it's going to serve the end needs of all of the folks that are consuming that data. For the vendors, it's a two-sided thing because they need to be able to ingest that cost data as well as, like Mike said, be able to do reporting and provide the support through their APIs to be able to pull that data out so that the end practitioners are dealing with this, the Focus-compatible data sets at all times. And then the practitioners, mostly they're going to be the ones that are consuming, but many of you have business processes that you need to then take this data and then provide the data to. That should be in Focus as well, because you're trying to get the broader organization aligned around this common language. So if you have your internal UIs and products for reporting, you should start using the focus terminology in those places as well. If you're exporting to like a spreadsheet or a CSV to feed into finance, start using focus columns in those, because that will allow you to get that language to the broader organization.
Ultimately, this is about the fact that every practitioner is doing a lot of work normalizing data within their reports, within the data. And if you look at every individual FinOps capability, data is king. It's almost the lifeblood of how capabilities work. And so if we can actually normalize it as a specification, as a unified format, you're removing all that effort and spending all that time and energy on actually FinOps for the organization.
So the benefits, I won't go into all of these, but I'll mention the one that I'm most excited about. When I was leading FinOps at Citi, my biggest problem was, how do I get costs and usage data to the edges of the organization and have those folks make the right, efficient decisions for their applications? Not having a common language was the biggest detractor, because now if you try to provide AWS's core data and GCP's data, and then Snowflake has completely different data, you're trying to get everybody to understand all of that and make that right decision. Engineers don't have time to do that. Your finance folks are not going to understand all of these different details either. So the biggest benefit that I'm excited about is the fact that now you have this ability to get this pushed out to the organization and start getting the benefits.
And whether you're multi-cloud today or not, I used to always say in my FinOps practice that we're only one M&A away from multi-cloud. And so I think that you should be thinking about all those FinOps practices that you have around your cloud data today, and the fact that if you bring in that extra cloud, or you want to extend out your FinOps practice to that extra cloud, you don't want to have to start from the beginning with that data.
I'll touch on one more thing.
Yeah.
The fact that the foundation, the frameworks, and the training is all going to be aligning around this focus language is going to be a key accelerator, not just for your adoption, but just in general for providers and others to align around focus.
Cloud vendors.
So how does it benefit? Especially when we announced this last year, people asked, why would cloud providers want to provide more easily understandable cost data? I used to work in AWS. It's a volume play, right? The more volume you can bring in, it's going to be based off of you using that services and those providers more efficiently. So if you understand your data better, you're going to bring in more workloads to those providers. It's going to also make it much easier for your practitioners in that, like, now you have this common language to kind of understand all of this.
Yeah, and I think with greater trust, you're able to utilize more cloud confidently. For the FinOps vendors, you don't want to be spending all your time just trying to get more data, more connectors into your product. Get your engineers working on the things that are actually differentiating features of your platform. But as I mentioned before, having your UX aligned to this unified language means that it's easier to adopt your tool in their suite of 4+ tools that practitioners are using. Ultimately, we want you to be able to, an easier adoption curve for new practitioners and an easier way for practitioners to get the most value out of your FinOps tool. So I think if you just take away one major point here, is that we just want practitioners spending less time normalizing data and more time doing FinOps. Now, to hear about doing FinOps, we're happy to pass over to Pavan and Nick to talk about what they've been up to at Zoom.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our breakout session about Zoom's focus adoption journey. My name is Pavan Tallapragada.
And my name is Nick Konstantinou.
So, as part of my responsibilities running public cloud infrastructure at Zoom, I am deeply involved with integrating FinOps practices and principles with our cloud infrastructure management. Embracing focus has been a recent game changer for us in this journey. It is allowing us to tackle some of our biggest challenges head-on and enabling us to make better data-driven decisions.
And as for me, my journey in the world of FinOps began a few years back while I was at Dow Jones. In 2019, I attended CloudyCon, and at CloudyCon, I learned the value and the potential of FinOps adoption in driving cost optimization across the organization. So fast forward to today, I'm working at Zoom to bring FinOps adoption to Zoom and further the cost optimization opportunities being taken by our engineering teams. In my day-to-day, I work with our finance, engineering, security, and DevOps stakeholders, and my job is to provide them the visibility and the understanding of the cost of our products and services that they support. And Focus has really been a game changer in getting that data from all 4 of the clouds that we use directly in front of them.
Next slide.
Oh. Am I going backwards?
All right, thank you. Sorry. All right, how many of you in the room have used Zoom? Or a better question is, how many of you have not used Zoom? All right. So let's kick it off and talk about what do we do at Zoom. Our mission at Zoom is to connect people across the globe and make collaboration and communication a breeze. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. We're bringing the world closer together through a suite of collaboration and productivity tools. But here's the thing. To make that magic happen, there is some serious tech power which is required. You're talking multiple cloud providers and data centers spread across the globe, the whole 9 yards. And managing costs across such diverse and wide range of infrastructure is a bit of a headache.
So our data is coming from 4 cloud providers and our global data centers and co-locations. We're still in the early stages of our adoption, but we're excited to peel back the curtain on how we are using Focus to drive optimization and provide visibility to our internal customers.
So let's talk about the big elephant in the room. The pain points we encountered in managing our cloud costs. As we embarked on our cloud journey, we quickly realized that wrangling costs was no walk in the park. There was data coming in from different sources with its own reporting mechanisms. And because of lack of standardization, it was incredibly difficult to get a handle on total cost of ownership and do any meaningful cost analysis. Another big challenge was accurately allocating costs to products, services, and teams. Without a clear and a consistent method, making data-driven decisions about resource optimization and investments was like shooting in the dark.
The lack of granular cost visibility across all of our clouds in a single visual or dashboard has been a pronounced pain point. And our infrastructure growth has accentuated this pain point. We have different personas within the company that have varying needs as to our finance VP, who requires the margin of our products to match business value metrics with our cost of goods sold for each product, to understand where we need to drive efficiency and which teams we need to allocate resources to. Our DevOps and engineering leads and stakeholders need to know the granular cost insights of the products and services that they support for every resource that builds that product. The lack of a common language has been an uphill battle as we have to work to normalize all of the data instead of spending valuable time in providing those optimization opportunities directly to the people who can make those changes. It's a huge time sink.
So let's talk about the challenges Focus is helping resolve. We are still in the very early stages of adoption of Focus at Zoom, but we are already seeing incredible potential. With multiple cloud providers and many data centers, consolidating and analyzing costs has been trying to solve a puzzle with pieces from different boxes. With Focus, we have started to normalize the data, and it is helping reduce manual data manipulation and making it easier to integrate cost data into our existing financial workflows. Another area where Focus is really helping us is cost allocation to products, services, and teams. Focus's granular capabilities based on usage metrics and tags gives us a clearer picture of the financial impact of each of the component in the infrastructure. Cost visibility is another area where Focus is adding value. It is providing us a single pane of a glass view. We're able to analyze costs at various levels of granularity. This is an ongoing process. We are still pretty early, but we expect the visibility to keep growing as we move ahead.
We're already seeing the benefits of Focus in streamlining our forecasting and budgeting process across our products and the total cloud usage. This is giving us optimism about our financial planning and resource allocation to projects to continue driving efficient cost optimization initiatives and efficient and scalable growth as we continue in our adoption journey. We're also seeing an enormous amount of reduction in ad hoc reporting requests from our internal teams. And this is freeing up my time and providing time to value as we continue to discover optimization opportunities across all of our estate.
So let's take a moment and talk about how we've started integrating Focus into Zoom's FinOps practice. To begin with, we established a dedicated Focus effort in Jira and defined an objective so that we could track that for the given quarter. The next critical milestone was essentially to work with our cloud providers and our internal teams to set up the necessary infrastructure and the data ingestion pipelines so that we could ingest the Focus formatted data. This has helped lay a solid foundation for a unified view of our costs. But Focus is not just about the technical aspects. We did a complete audit of our internal FinOps practices and tools and identified areas where Focus could add further value and enhance our capabilities. We identified opportunities where Focus could seamlessly integrate into our current workflows with minimal impact.
And now we're beginning to leverage these granular insights that we have with the multi-cloud visibility provided by Focus. We're working closely with our teams to enable them to make data-driven decisions and work with a mindset of cost consciousness. It's really empowering our teams to make those decisions to become more scalable and more efficient in the products that they're serving.
So we have set some ambitious goals for focus in the near future. We are expecting to allocate costs to all our products, services, and teams and take that percentage to around 95%. This would enhance transparency and accountability. We expect our minimum infrastructure utilization to be at 75%, and this would help us identify underutilized and over-provisioned resources. The chargeback accuracy goal is to be at 85%, so that we could start precisely attributing our costs based on actual usage. And we want to see greater than 90% of our anomalies in a single pane of glass view, so that this could enable, we could start leveraging focus for real-time monitoring and alerting around anomalies.
So how are we tackling data ingestion? Previous to our implementation of Focus, what I was doing is working in each of the cloud providers' native solutions and with vendors to gather reports from all of these different data sources, put them into Google Sheets or Excel documents, do data normalization myself, and then provide out single-page reports for each of our engineering and finance stakeholders. This is a time-consuming process. And the complexity from each of the cloud providers in their pricing models was a mountain to overcome. You have one cloud provider that's providing cost by vCPU count per hour that you have to compare to another cloud provider that has compute instance hours, another cloud provider with compute shape hours, and then there's another cloud provider, yet again, with vCPU cost per hour, and separately, in another line item, memory cost per hour. One cloud service provider that we work with provided some out-of-the-box functionality and templates that allowed us to set up the basic data ingestion pipelines so that we could start taking advantage as soon as Focus GA became available. There's multiple approaches that you can take to get there using Snowflake, Tableau, Power BI. But if you're using AWS, you can take advantage of those templates. And you can use Lambda as an example for data retrieval to retrieve those focus data sets. You can use Glue for data transformation. And you can leverage Athena and Redshift to join or union the data sets and query them. From there, we provide all of the data, all of the focused data sets to our data analysts, business intelligence teams, data science teams in Snowflake, where they can marry it up with our business value metrics. We expect to add our data center and co-location data in the same focus format later this year.
So focus-driven dashboards are already starting to be a game changer for decision-making at Zoom. A couple of dashboards in work right now are, one is a product profitability dashboard. This will enable product teams to start accurately allocating resources to products and features, and in turn maximize return on investment. Another dashboard is aimed for engineering and operation teams. This is the cloud cost optimization dashboard. This would provide actionable insights for these teams so that they could right-size their infrastructure and understand in more detail about the underutilized infrastructure. We expect Focus to start driving more advanced analytical capabilities, including machine learning for cost analysis and anomaly detection in the near future.
So this is an example dashboard we're looking at consumption and billing by provider here. In 2023, Zoom launched Smart Summary for Zoom meetings, where you can summarize your meeting. I use this constantly in every meeting. It's a game changer. But as we continue to put AI capabilities across all of our products, the surge in the AI spend and GPU spend necessitates critical decision making to balance our AI expansion and optimization. In the chart over here, this is for our engineering and DevOps personas. We're giving them a comprehensive visibility into all of our products' multi-cloud estate. We can see the cost per unit hour by cloud provider so that we can have our engineering and DevOps stakeholders target which cloud providers they really need to make our products much more efficient in. In this chart, we see our cost centers and profitability. It gives us a breakdown of total cloud spend allocated to each cost center across all 4 of our clouds. We can see our unit cost by cost center, which is a measure of how efficient our cost centers are. And this can drive decision making to identify high cost per unit for optimization opportunities. You know, high cost and low unit cost can represent efficient scaling, but we can see more opportunities as to which cloud providers might provide that same unit cost, but a lower overall cost. And we expect to bring our business value metrics in the same focused format at some point to make mapping these for all of our products a much easier task. And this final dashboard is showing us our daily savings impacts by optimization efforts already taken. We can see target areas where we may not have focused yet within other cloud providers that we can really allocate our resources to make their products more efficient. So as we reflect on our focus journey, we see that focus brings immense value to cost management. In the future, on our roadmap, we plan to extend the focus format to our data center and colo data. We expect to bring our business value metrics into focus data and work with our SaaS providers to get the focus data sets from those providers. And we're planning to integrate these data sets with our executive dashboards so that they can drive informed decision making from the top down, and we can provide them an understanding of the cloud economics of our products. We plan to refine our cost allocation models to get more accurate using the data from all 4 cloud providers that we're on. And we expect to collaborate more efficiently with the teams that we work with and with the wider FinOps community.
So as you prepare to embark on your focus journey, here are some few tips and considerations to keep in mind. One of the most important things is to define a specific OKR and have this tracked as part of a Jira project or whatever tool you're using internally. The OKR or the project should clearly outline the goals, milestones, and the responsibilities for embracing focus within your organization. The next step is to work with your cloud providers and your respective tooling vendors to kind of understand the need for the infrastructure and the data pipelines and define them for ingesting the focus formatted data. This will lay a solid foundation for a unified view of costs as you go about your journey. Next, conduct a thorough assessment of existing FinOps practices and tools within your organization. Identify areas where focus could potentially enhance these capabilities and make the processes more efficient. Engage with your stakeholders. Educate them on benefits of focus and train them on how they could start effectively utilizing focus and get value out of the data. Empower the teams to make more data-driven decisions and foster a culture of cost consciousness within your organization. Please keep in mind that focus is not a one-off thing. It is an ongoing journey. So you're going to continuously have to work to refine your cost allocation models, iterate on the processes based on the learnings and insights from focus data. At Zoom, we are excited to be part of this transformation. And we are very glad to work with the FinOps community to drive the change and embrace focus. Thank you all for your time today. We'll be at the booth for any further questions.
Thank you, Zab. Thanks to the Zoom team, and we had Clement yesterday as well. It's great to hear some of the stories from these early adopters. This is still very early doors. 1.0 is just the beginning of the conversation, as James said in the keynote yesterday. We're just really excited to hear more of your stories over the next 12 months and hopefully have even more of you up here on stage talking about the awesome things you're able to achieve with Focus.
So I hope this is the last time you guys are going to hear from us introducing Focus. So I think you've probably heard the same things many times last year and now this year. There's training courses available. We hope this becomes just a standard part of your FinOps journey going forward. But as you saw this morning, super excited that the Focus 1.0 is available. You can download and read the spec on the website, focus.finops.org. And
it's a little bit dry reading if you're really into reading specifications. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. For those who really want to need to know the actual normative text of the spec, it's definitely a good read, especially if you're going to generate billing data. But if you're just trying to get into the billing data, we tried to make a new solution for you on the focus.finops.org website. We have a column library.
Yeah, as you've probably seen, Focus today covers some 43 columns. 43, yeah. It's across many of the most important columns that you use in your day-to-day FinOps. It's got things about billing accounts and sub-account IDs and the various cost metrics and things like that. We drove all of these based off of the most common use cases you all perform. We had a practitioner group. That group created the initial set of use cases that we then translated into the columns that are available here. And we made it easy now, rather than read the PDF version of the spec, for you all to consume this specification by using the column library that's available on focus.finops.org. It links to the FinOps capabilities, as well as all the different use cases that particular columns serve.
So we expect to continue to evolve the column library to add more value and more information in there as practitioners to be able to learn from. And as Udom said, it links to related use cases, and the way it does that is with a tool we created on the FinOps.org website actually captures those FinOps use cases and then provides you not only the columns related in Focus, but a starting point for the query. So you're no longer having to start creating all of these queries in your own practice from scratch. Once again, the way that Focus works is to work back from FinOps use cases. We would love to have you telling us which use cases are missing. There's a make a suggestion button on the FinOps.org website. So let us know what's missing. Tell us which ones you're having challenges with. We want to build this library out and then use this library to drive the Focus spec forward.
And I'll just add one more thing on that last one. Even for the existing use cases, we want to get the feedback from you. If you start using it and you realize, actually, there's a different variation of this, we want to know about it because we're going to factor all of that into the future iterations of Focus. So the time is now. We've done a bunch of work here to bring this standardization forward. The providers have done a lot of work. Now it's time for the community to come together and start adopting Focus, because that's the signal that is going to essentially go back to the providers to feed this loop and keep this innovation going.
The point here is you're going to find some gaps. You're going to find some things that you wish it had. Give that feedback, either directly to your cloud provider or directly to us in the Focus community. Because the point here is not to be 1.0 and done, and we're done and we walk out of here, but to continue to evolve this specification to make sure it's solving every one of those FinOps use cases, and even look for the future where we're driving the actual data we have in our FinOps practices forward. To help you get started, we already pre-announced the Introduction to Focus course, which is free, available to everyone. And then this week we've released the FinOps Certified Analyst course, and we have already got a pile of people certified in that. And so, be one of the first group that are actually certified on the Focus data set. And so that sort of builds out. We have, a sort of a suite of resources building out as available for your Focus journey. We really want to help all of you adopt this unified format to get started with the cloud data and start incorporating it into your own FinOps practices. That's it for us. We will go out to the Focus booth after the session here. So please come out and ask as many questions as you need, and then definitely ask the Zoom team as many questions as what will help you get started as well. Thank you for hanging out with us, and I think Stacey will get us kicked off ready for the next session.
Happy adopting.
Hey, I like it in you. Hey, by the way, I looked while we were backstage. You guys are really excited about Focus because so many of you have already gotten certified on the Focus Certified Analyst course while here. So if you haven't done it, like Mike said, be one of the first folks to do it. And yeah, that's it. Anyways, you guys can stay with me. Up next is going to be a break. So you have a break until 3:15. So go get a refreshment, a snack. And again, one more big, huge round of applause for Udam and Mike and Nick and Pavan and everybody. So thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps X 2024 content on our YouTube channel on the 2024 playlist. Support our channel by liking, subscribing, clicking the notification bell, and by leaving comments and questions for our speakers. We appreciate your support.